Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie, Archenemy. Just found it on DirecTV. Joe Manganiello, or whatever you know what I mean, who was Deathstroke at the end of Justice League and will probably appear in the director's cut. So I'm excited about that. He was also in Magic Mike. Been a lot of different things. I think he was on One Tree Hill for a little bit. How I Met Your Mother. You know, made his trip around. And he's married to, what's her name? Sofia Vergara. Alright, enough about him, right? But that's, you know, if I see a movie that looks somewhat interesting and I recognize the name, I'm going to watch it, and I recognize his name. This movie's 4.9 on IMDb, and it basically, he claims, I believe it's him, Max, I'm assuming he's Max, claims that he fell through dimensions, another dimension, and came to Earth, but he doesn't have any powers. But wherever he came from, he has superpowers. And nobody believes him except for a team named Hamster. Hamster. Yeah, so, I don't know. Like I said, 4.9, only 285 people have rated it so far. So, I'm going to get into it here, find out what it's about, give you a better idea, see who else is in it. Doesn't look like there's a lot of people in it. So, I don't know. Oh, it's also on Prime, but I got it on DirecTV. So, it's only an hour and 30 minutes long. Figure out what it's about, give you a better idea, see if it's any good, and I'll let you know. Stick around. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in here. We're watching Archenemy. We're at the 52-minute, 12-second mark. I almost didn't do a check-in, but I gotta go get my phone charger, so I figure why not talk to the good people and tell them what's going on. So I'll start off this way. I got scared. Because, you know, I don't know about this movie. I just saw it on DirecTV, and I'm like, seems kind of interesting. And it's got, you know, Joe M in it, and let's check it out. And I started watching it, and it was cartoon. And I was like, oh, no. But it's not. So, remember how I told you in the beginning, Max, because I'm not going to try and say his last name again, comes from a different dimension. Well, that dimension is displayed as a cartoon in this. So it's kind of, anytime he thinks about it or we go back to it, it's all done in a cartoon. Whether he really was like a cartoon in that dimension, I don't really know, but basically it's signifying his previous dimension. Then he falls through the dimension and then comes to Earth, and he's a real person now, you know? So he falls to Earth, loses all of his powers, and he's homeless, basically, you know? And so he's kind of out there hanging out, drinks a lot, and his theory is that he drinks because of, you know, he's from a different dimension and it's like whiskey blood or something like that. I don't quite understand it, but it like helps him, I think. But you know what I mean? So it like ties in, like that's his story behind why he's homeless and why he's drunk, right? So you're like, Enter in Hamster. Hamster is, you know, he lives on the wrong side of the tracks, I guess, but he wants to be a reporter. So he stops in at this one place where I guess they probably run a blog or something like that, and he wants to be a part of it. And he says, I'm going to go out and get you stories. And that's how he runs into Max. So he finds Max on the street one day, and he's like, I heard about you. You know, didn't you come from a different dimension, superpowers? And so he starts sharing, he's like, as long as he buys him beer and whiskey, he'll share his story. And of course his story is very in-depth, Hamster believes him, you know. You know, it's up for you to decide if you believe him at this point or not. There's no evidence, you know, or anything like that besides the stories that he tells. And so, but he's really bought into it. Meanwhile, Hamster's sister she runs with the drug crowd. So she's kind of a drug dealer. So she's involved in that, and there's a part where, this is kind of where it just got to, so they're kind of becoming friends, Max and Hamster, in a sense, and Hamster comes home. Well, she's kind of in trouble with some of the drug people. Max steps in to try and help her and, you know, beat some people up. You know, it's a little bit more in depth than that, but you'll get it. So you can see the relationship building, and now Max feels like connected to everybody, and that's where we are. So far pretty good. It's kind of interesting. It's a different take. You know, I think the whole part right now for me is like, you know what I mean? Is he really from a different dimension, or is he just a homeless drunk that has a really good story? So that's what's cool. We'll see where it goes from here. I like it, and hopefully it stays good, but who knows? But I'll check in at the end and give you my final thoughts. Stick around. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of Archenemy, and I have to say, I'm pleasantly surprised. You know, I went in with low expectations, of course, when it was for whatever, you know, and all these people have rated it. I didn't expect much from it. And even when I started to watch the beginning of it, I was like, oh, I don't know. It is very comic booky, if that's a word. It is now, like Kimmel's Irish Pub. You know, so if you don't like superhero and comic book type stuff, but this one's even more comic book because of the cartoon piece of it, makes it more comic booky. But that aside, I thought it was there's something good here. I thought. I really liked what they did. I always talk about the opportunities first, and I think they had this relationship between Max and Hamster built up rather too quick. It just seemed quick to me. You know, there wasn't enough to really think that last time I checked in, he was protecting them, but he was like he was going to protect them for the rest of his life, and it's like, you know, you just started talking to this guy. You know, and there's no really, he's giving you booze and you're telling him a story. That's really, you know, there's not enough there for me to believe that he's really there to protect him. And then he just meets his sister, who was a drug dealer anyway. And he's all about protecting them. You know, and there are like video montages of things happening to try and build that depth up, but it didn't work, you know, I don't think. But that, you know, that aside, you get the sense that they're supposed to be tight, right? But it's not. You didn't get that from the film. You know it. So that's what I got for that much. And then I just think the whole at the end, you know, not the end, but like when we come, oh, okay. You know, when you're gonna find out, is he just a crazy drunk homeless guy, or is he really from another dimension type piece? And I think they could have played that a little bit better. You know, what they did was good, but I wasn't on the edge of my seat. Like, you should have been like, I'm dying to know here. You know what I mean? Like, what? And they just didn't execute on that piece very well, I felt. Otherwise, I liked it. I thought they had a good idea here to make you think, okay, you want to know what he is, what he isn't. You know, what is this all really about? And then what happens, all that. You know, so, and that's really what you want out of this film, I think. And it's there. It's almost there. I mean, they just needed a little bit more development on the front end, and then, I don't know what it is, like better delivery on the back end, is what I'm going to say. Otherwise, I enjoyed it, you know. You know, nobody's going to win an Academy Award for any of this, but it's fun. I like this, you know, and I think a lot of people are probably sick of comic book and superhero movies. Not me. I can watch them all day, that and Star Wars and all that stuff. I watch that all the time. But, you know, if you're not sick of that and you want to see something a little off the beaten path, this one's not bad. You know, it's like kind of like Mortal. If you saw Mortal, I really liked that one. That one was pretty good little story there, and that one's off the beaten path. So is this one. So there you go. That's what I got for you. Again, you know, don't go in thinking, oh, this is going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. But if you're entertained by, you know, non-popular comic book superhero movies, this might be the one for you. Alright, there you go. Check it out. Love to hear your thoughts. Drop me some comments. Always welcome to hear what you think. And, you know, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. That'd be awesome. And tell all your friends. And more importantly, continue to tune in to Kimmel's Irish Pub.